Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Raw Life Artist. My name is Clenda, and today we're gonna talk about the artist in times of social media and AI. And I want to talk about integrity. The main focus is gonna be the question of how can I, as an artist, be okay with using AI? Am I okay with using it, or how can I be okay using it? Like to what degree could I possibly implement it so it serves me? So we're going to talk about that because there is no denying that this is where the future is headed, you know. And I've been musing on that a lot lately because I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I came to this, a little bit about my story and the beginnings of my journey and my career, and where I'm at now, and whether or not I'm making use of AI or to what degree. So let's dive right in. When I started out online, on social media, on Instagram, I started out because I had this vague idea of writing a book, and I thought, oh, let's just go on social media and just post random stuff. And by the time I have my book, I have an audience. So it's gonna be super easy. None of that happened. But I went online and I just started my Instagram account, and I had no direction, I had no niche, I had nothing. I just posted random stuff and random thoughts. Did a little bit of graphic design on Canva, and it just was fun. It was very playful. And my account grew, and I had, I don't know, random people just texted me, commented, liked my post, and I was like, oh my god, that's so easy. That is cool. But I didn't expect anything, but that's what happened. Um then the whole book thing was canceled in my head, in my journey forward. But all of a sudden I had a job back then, and it came to an end, and I was faced with a decision, and I was choosing to become an artist or self-employed. Let's say self-employed for the first time, like completely full-time self-employed. And I made the decision to do that. So I was starting out with an online shop for crystals, and online I just started talking about crystals and that I'm going to open a shop. And the whole things I did, like the whole posts, like just shifted direction into the crystal online shop e-commerce thing. And I don't know, my target audience just moved with me, or like it just, yeah, I don't know. It just happened that all of a sudden, all the people in my community were crystal shop fans. And I'm like, oh, okay, you can just change direction on your Instagram account and people will just follow. So that's okay. Like, I didn't even think about it, it just happened. So then I knew the shop was just the first step in my entrepreneurial career, because I wanted to be, back then I had like, I just wanted to be a coach, but actually I just wanted to like be creative. So I changed directions after a while, couple of years, 1 year, 2 years. And I was like, okay, I can just change direction on my Instagram account. People will follow like they did. All of a sudden, the new, like, the people who were there were the crystal people, but I wasn't talking about crystals anymore, so they were not my target audience anymore. But my account was not like, I didn't reach any new people. I didn't reach new people. I didn't reach people that were actually my new target audience. Like what happened, what worked in the past and just naturally happened, it didn't happen anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Um, and thus the struggle began. um, then I solidified the thing, and then I came more and more into my real like the core of what I wanted to do, and that is being an artist online, coaching other artists on their way, dealing with all the challenges, the multifacetedness, empowering stuff, and somatic work for artists, basically. And also being an artist online, meaning podcasting, writing. There's the idea of like actually writing another book or a book at all. And, just being a creative online, the target audience is very clear. And my Instagram account is very clear. But like I'm in a corner. I feel like I have maneuvered myself with this account into a corner where all the people on my account, none of them is part of my target audience. I am not like my stuff, like, I don't know if other people outside of the few people that actually get to see my posts, if they ever come across my stuff, because I don't think, like, it doesn't feel like my stuff is distributed all across like social media, especially not my target audience. And I know they exist because I'm also part of a community of artists. They share all, like, if they knew I existed online on social media specifically, they would all of them would be my target audience, But I feel like my account with my social media Instagram account, I've maneuvered myself into a corner where everyone that actually sees my posts is not my target audience. They're not creatives. So, of course, they're not interested in my work. But neither new people nor my actual target audience get to see my posts. And that is the most frustrating thing ever. Because we can talk about energetics and the vibe and all these things and like relevant topics or like actual like profound knowledge being conveyed or transmitted or online or whatever. At some point, like, it's not about the quality or the quantity or about, I don't know, relevance or whatever, because I highly believe that my stuff is good. And it could serve people because it serves me. So I can't be the only person like benefiting from the things I write, So it's so frustrating to know that I'm doing stuff and I keep on doing stuff, but I'm not reaching the people that need to hear my stuff or need to read my stuff. There are so many artists out there and they could like really find hope in my pieces or support in my coaching, but Instagram isn't showing it to them. And that is frustrating as fuck because you struggle, you hustle, and you do and you do and you do, and you wonder what the fuck else do I have to do? Because nothing apparently seems to work. And that's just, I have talked to a lot of people in different areas that experience the same thing, by the way, in different areas, but so many who give up, and that is the saddest thing I can think of, because having this passion and this purpose of your life right here, and the only thing standing in between you and actually supporting and inspiring people is some algorithm or some platform that just won't show your stuff to other people. I am very, very reluctant to give up when something is so important to me as my art career is to me, and the purpose of supporting and inspiring other people, other creatives specifically. So I'm very, very adamant about finding new ways to keep going. So I was wondering what the problem is. It started out, my AI is Gemini. So I asked Gemini AI, I explained my struggle to, to the artificial intelligence. And I was like, this is how it is. Like, can you tell me what it would take for me to reach actual, like, the people who are actually part of my target audience? And we were discussing it a little bit, and it actually, the main points that stuck with me were that you have to use a certain language on Instagram, a language that the algorithm understands so it can distribute your stuff to the right people. And I remember something that was very, very sad because I was talking about like I love writing like poetically or like with empowerment stuff or even with edge and stuff like that, but I love this poetic stuff, and I was like prompting some phrases so it gets to know my language, and what came back was, I love your poetic language, but it can be a little vague for the algorithm. And I'm like, that is the saddest thing I have ever heard. Because back in the days when there were poets roaming the earth, and the more poetic the words were, the more attracted people were to them. And now I have to kill the poetry in my words so a machine can understand it, so actual people can come across my work, which would actually be poetic, but it's not poetic anymore because otherwise it wouldn't reach them. It's in fucking sane. So I'm like, I was like, am I becoming a fucking pawn that's at the mercy of an algorithm? Like, do I have to change my voice? How can I ever be okay with this? How can I be okay with altering my words as a writer specifically? How can I be okay with altering my words just so the machine understands it? So it has a chance to actually reach people. But then again, it would feel like, okay, the stuff that reaches people finally is not actually my authentic voice. So how can I be okay with this? How can I be okay with using AI online on social media? Especially as a writer, as a poet, as an find your own voice kind of coach, ambassador. And it's really, I really dove very deeply into that because I wanted to be like, it's all about integrity, but it's also about trying new things. So maybe to give my art a chance. So it was like it was a predicament here. And there's like the side aspect is also, if I let AI write the stuff for me, I'm gonna be very lazy at some point. I'm gonna become very generic and lazy and stupid because I wouldn't even have to think for myself anymore. Like, is that something like I want to even get closer to? There were all questions in my like that I had to deal with, because, and also there was a lot of shame. A lot of shame, like, why am I not able to write in such a way that I can have my art be like transmitted to other people, Like, why can't I learn? Like, I could, but I don't wanna actually. So, but why is the stuff that I write naturally, without being altered or adjusted, why is the stuff that I'm writing not good enough for the algorithm? This is so unfair. Like, there was a lot of feeling of being treated unfairly. There was a lot of shame because I even considered trying it because, yeah, as a writer, if there's AI that writes for you, no writer is needed anymore. And that is just like, I would feed into that possibility. And there was a lot of shame. And I wondered if I, like when I said, okay, I'm going to just try it and see what happens, I'm glossing over the fact that I'm yeah, altering my voice. Mm. And then I found a way to reframe all of that. And the first thing that I realized for myself was that if I try it, if I do it, if I really use AI to write, I'm gonna get into how I'm gonna like how I find my way to be okay with that in a bit. But I stated to myself that when I use it, when I use AI to write stuff, I have to own it. I can't pretend that this is my own voice when I post something that isn't my voice. I just have to be very clear in what's what. But if I use it, I have to own it. I can't pretend that it's not AI if I'm asked. So this is why I'm recording this episode, because I'm actually owning using AI for some things in some areas. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. Just to give you one possible way, and you can just like what I'm asking you to do is to feel into how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to say, and feel into it. And maybe you feel it in your body that, oh, that's actually something that resonates with me. I can try it that way. Or you feel like, oh my God, what is this chick talking about? Like, I hate it. I hate her now. I'm going to unfollow her. That's okay too. I would hate to see you go. But, resonating like by like figuring out what's best for you via contrast. That's fine. It means it served you in some way, and that is all I want. So I found this reframe for myself that I picture my Instagram account as somewhat of an atelier, of a studio, my art studio. There's all my versatile art in there. There's my writing, there's my podcasting, there's my philosophical musings, there are my coaching things, art coaching things. There's stuff about music when I'm like playing with my band and I'm painting and stuff like that. It's all in there. It's in the feed, in the Instagram feed. And like stories is like somewhat of a store window or whatever. And I found that it feels like the store is in a country that I don't speak the language of, which means social media or Instagram specifically. Like this store is filled with art, but no one's coming in because they don't like I don't speak the language. I can't draw people in. So I need something that actually speaks the language of the people, meaning the algorithm Instagram. So people actually get, oh, there's a cool art store. Let's go inside, and then the art will speak for itself. So what I'm doing is that for every piece I write, every podcast episode I record, I have no script. This is authentic. I'm just talking. I know what I want to talk about, and I'm just talking. I'm not reading an AI generated script or whatever. No judging, but for me, this wouldn't feel right. But I just want to tell you how it is for me. And I'm writing posts and I'm writing down my revelations and takes on creativity and all these things, my personal experiences and all these things. All these things you see on my feed, it's me. But for every post or every episode or every blog post on my Substack, they're all just me. For every quote unquote major thing I write, like I said, be it a post or an article on Substack or a podcast episode, I make what I call a shout out reel. And that means that I'm feeding my Gemini AI, I'm feeding it my original writing, or I'm going to explain what the episode is about. And I say, please write me an optimized social media caption that has all the right keywords, the right hooks, the right text overlays, um, so it has a chance to like reach that it speaks the social media language, the algorithmic language, so it can reach my target audience. And the first time I did it, I was shocked and hopeful and shocked and hopeful at the same time. How well written it was, how, in a nutshell, AI was able to explain an issue. And I'm like, I'm a little bit jealous because I cannot write this in such like easy, understandable terms. And then I thought, okay, I don't need to learn that. I mean, I can be inspired by what I see, sure, but I'm not gonna morph my own voice into that voice because I have AI to speak that language and speak in that voice, and I can use it for my purposes. So I'm gonna have all my art be as it is. Sure, I can be inspired and improve my writing, obviously, but then I have the AI generated shout out that is basically what I write in a nutshell, speaking using the words and phrasing and language of the algorithm. And I don't know, I'm gonna do like, I'm not a fan of reels, but I love dancing and I have made it my own. Like I've also tried to find a way, how can I do reels that are not a pain in my fucking ass and that I don't have huge resistance creating. And I found it in me to just, because I love selecting music for to create a vibe or fit like the content of the words. So for every shout out, I have fun selecting the right song, and I have fun. I'm just recording myself dancing and singing this song, and I just have a text overlay that has like the hook of my, I don't know, of the text, and then a caption that explains in a nutshell what actually my post, my podcast episode, my article is about. Um, and this I can post. And also what I do is like I fed Gemini my vibe. I I don't know. I said like I'm poetic. I love empowering stuff. I like provocative topics. It learned the way I want to like I'm writing, and also how I want to dare writing. Like my I it's like I let AI generate an inspiration for my future self. So I don't know, write something super provocative, something that maybe I wouldn't dare to write, but having it written out by an I can be inspired by that and encouraged to, oh yeah, this is how I could do it and practice, So it's actually a good feature, but I try to keep it as much as me as I am now, as possible because yeah, I just wanted to have it be not like as authentic as possible, obviously, and not like be a complete different vibe. So I fed AI like common words I use, like freedom and independence. Those are my words, and so it shows up in the shout out text. What else? Like metaphors I like using, like the prism and the facetedness and stuff like that. And also it by now knows like what my major topics are, which is like internal silence when there's little drive, there's no drive to create, or when you face silence as an artist, like external void, multifacetedness, and the whole coaching thing. So AI knows what I'm about, and it writes a text that is in alignment with that. I always, always, always read like the text and improve it, or just write stuff in a different way. Sometimes that takes more time than me actually writing a new post because when I write something, it's more or less in flow. But having to like think into what AI wrote and adjusting it so it's okay with me, so it's in alignment with my values and the way I would phrase it and say stuff, because sometimes it sounds generic. So I feel like I want to like improve that a little bit, work on that a little bit. Mm. So I'm actually okay with writing it. I would never just copy paste something and then post it. That would not be in alignment with my values, but no judging here, you know? So yeah, that's basically my process. And to give it here in a nutshell, like for me, it works best. Like I'm in this very moment in time, I am okay with using AI for writing, like show notes or shout out reels. But for me, it's okay to keep it separate, like to have my stuff untouched while I create shout outs in a nutshell, reels, AI generated. Shout outs that speak the language of social media, so I don't have to morph my voice into doing that. So AI does it for me, fed with everything, with my own words, you know, and my vibe and everything that's important to me. So I basically use AI to speak the language of the algorithm so it serves me. And it also takes the pressure off my own stuff to be anything else than it wants to be. It gives my own stuff the freedom to be unoptimized shit in the eyes of the algorithm, you know? My stuff can just be me. And then there's like the shout out flyer version that actually speaks the language of the algorithm and thus has the chance to reach my target audience. And also, I'm just willing to to consciously explore what this can be. What if this even like makes a difference? Like right now, I could either just keep going and keep doing what I do, but it felt like I'm going nowhere. But instead of altering my voice, I'm just adding someone else's voice, the algorithm's voice, to the mix and letting it work for me. And I'm just curious and in a very playful way exploring how this turns out. So yeah, and I find a way that I'm still motivated to try things out. I'm actually learning a lot of stuff because sometimes it features an aspect of my own work that or it draws connections between like this post and the post I prompted, I don't know, 3 days ago, and it draws a connection. I'm like, oh my god, that's a good connection. So it actually can be inspiring. But yeah, I invite you to just feel into that, into how can you be okay with using AI? Is there even a necessity for you to use it? What advantage could you have from it? And if you could have an advantage, how can you be okay with using it as an artist, as a writer? And it's not just about the writing, it's also, I believe, about like in all the variety you can use AI, like in the music area or graphic design area and all these things. Mm, how do you want, like, would you profit from using it? And if so, how can you find a way to use it that that's still in line with your values and your principles and how you want to do art? Because for me, I found that I stated I made a statement and said, "This shall not make me lazy." It like AI came up with very cool posts, and I'm like, I'm not gonna write posts because then it will be not a clear separation. Right now, just my reels are AI text. Like obviously it's me in the reel, but it's me dancing. Because that's still fun for me and I want to do it myself. I wouldn't let it generate. But the text and just the Reels tab is the AI stuff. The Feeds tab is all my real stuff. So yeah. Do you want to use it? How would it still be in alignment with your values to use it? How can it maybe even inspire you? And just be very, very clear in which areas you're okay with using it and in which areas you don't want AI to interfere with. Yeah. So that was my process with the whole thing. And I mean, it's still new and it's improving rapidly, and there's no not using it in some way. So might as well be start finding ways to be okay with it and find ways that are like in line with your values. Like especially as artists, because there's I had shame, but now I don't feel shame anymore in letting myself getting support from AI. It might change maybe someday I'll say, oh my god, look, remember the time when you used AI to write your shout out reels? And that's okay because now I'm owning it. In this stage, in this moment in time, AI being in the state it's in right now, I'm okay with using it as shout out reels to speak the language of social media, because otherwise I don't like this way I don't have to morph my own voice. So there's a clear separation. Yeah. Feel into it, figure out what feels good for you, if it feels good for you at all. And if you choose one way, you get to own it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Until next time, my loves.